We didn't have money, but my mom dropped everything just to go to a different hospital just to get her care.
I had a great interview with Candace, an older sibling of Angelita, who has Down syndrome. Angelita is the youngest of 11, by the way.
We're a big, old, traditional Mexican family, so she's the most spoiled one. One, because she's the baby of 11, and two, because she has Down syndrome.
Candace always says, "My mother is an expert on having babies."
So when she was pregnant, she felt like something was different with that pregnancy. And she was the one that kept telling the nurses she wanted more testing done because she felt like there was something different with that baby.
In utero?
Mm-hmm. And I've asked her, like, what was different? And she was always like, I can't explain it, I just knew something was a little different.
Apparently they got the diagnosis that Angelita had Down syndrome in utero, but didn't tell Candace and her siblings until she was born.
But my mom always said, like, she has Down syndrome, but she's still the same, and I want you to treat her exactly the same.
Things were a little different, though. For the first 6 months of Angelita's life, Candace and her siblings didn't see her. Angelita had to be flown to a different hospital for better care. Candace shares a story of why they were flown to a different hospital.
When she was born, she was really, really ill. She had tubes in her arms, in her head, in her chest. She just had tubes everywhere, and my mom's like, she just looked, that was a scary moment. The doctors told my mom, why don't you just forget you had her? And that really upset my mom, and she was all like, I'll forget I met you. They gave her her baby, my sister, wrapped in her own IVs and said, you figure it out.
So she was born in the States. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. It was terrible. The nurse from the hospital saw that and contacted a different hospital. And for the first 6 months of her life, we didn't see her. And my mom dropped everything. We didn't have money, but my mom dropped everything just to go to a different hospital just to get her care.
When Angelita came home from the hospital, Candace recalls Angelita's room looking like a hospital room.
You heard beeping, you saw lights, you saw vapor stuff. It's just like everything moving, and we always wanted to go and sleep with the baby.
When asked if she experienced the glass child syndrome growing up, Candace said she did not.
Yeah, my mom wouldn't be like, oh, super attentive of just one child because she had so many.
Right.
So, but it was just the buddy system always pairing up.
Where they are from, they didn't have a lot of resources for people with disabilities. Candace remembers what it was like to see someone with a disability.
You really didn't see any other families with a sibling with Down syndrome or any disability. Like, it was just more of everybody kept them hidden. So when we would see someone, we're like, wow, someone with Down syndrome, like, because we weren't used to it.
Right.
So that was different, like going to elementary school and my mom having to drag all of her machines with her because she was on a G-tube and oxygen and stuff.
Where they live now, everyone in the neighborhood and at church all know Angelita.
She is the celebrity. She's still very celebrity-like diva.
Candace says that Angelita is her best friend. She always tries to sneak away with her to go home.
We'll be like, where's Angelita? And someone will peek out the door, like the window, and she'll be sitting in my car because she'll want to go with me. We've been in a Folclorico class together, which is a dance class where you use your skirts. We hang out. I teach her the sassy comebacks, which my other sisters don't appreciate, but I think it's funny. Like, one sister would always tell her to clean her room, and clean your room. And one day I was like, leave her alone. If she doesn't want to clean her room, she doesn't have to. And she was like, no, she needs to clean her room. So one day I taught her, I was like, if she tells you clean your room, you tell her on my own time. I'll do it on my own time. So yeah, so now she's very sassy and she'll just snap her fingers, roll her head and say, on my own time. Or I also taught her how to say, calm down, woman. And one day my sister called me really upset. She's like, are you teaching Angelita all of these sassy comments? And I'm like what? Well, she just told me down, woman. And I was just like, did she use it in the right context? And she goes, she did. Perfect context. I was like, that's all that matters.
When asked, what do you hope for your sister, for her future? Candace responds that she wants Angelita to live with her.
So she's 20 now, and my mom's older, and she's getting sick. I based my whole career on Down syndrome. So I work in an organization that I love and that does wonderful things, because they're doing so much for families that I wish my family was able to receive when we were growing up, or have those events and see other families that you're not alone, because that's what we always felt like. We were just always the different family, other than being so big. Once I started working there, I was like, wow, there's so much we could do and so much I could help with my family out. So I'm always trying to help my family from afar.
Candace shares her advice to other siblings of someone with Down syndrome. She says it's going to be the best thing you could ever have.
They'll show you more than you think. You learn together as a family. We learned signs because of Angelita. You learn patience, like just knowing she'll take a little longer, but that's fine because there's no rush for most of the time. You have to learn her language. She's nonverbal. So sometimes it's like everybody in the kitchen trying to figure out what she's saying. My sister, I say she has superpowers. We played charades between us siblings, and one of my brothers had my sister's name on his card. And all we had to say was, she's super cute and she has superhuman strength. Those are the two clues he got, and he was like, Angelita.
Help us make more Orange Socks videos by clicking below to subscribe. And make sure you hit the bell so you never miss an Orange Socks video. You can also find more of our videos here. Thanks for watching.